Go tell that long-tongued liar, go and tell that midnight rider, tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter, tell him that God's gonna cut him down, tell him that God's gonna cut him down.
George, good morning. There are two overwhelming emotions out here this morning. Deep, deep sadness and also anger. Anger that these two little boys couldn't somehow be protected from their father. A man that so many people feared was a killer. The fire and apparent explosion was so powerful it shook neighbors' homes and sent bits of insulation from the house raining down on the neighborhood.
All of a sudden, the house shook and I ran outside and you can see this black smoke.
Minutes earlier, just before 12:30 Sunday afternoon, 7-year-old Charles and 5-year-old Braden Powell had been escorted into the home by a caseworker for a court-ordered visitation with their father, Josh Powell. Police say Powell forced the caseworker out, locked the doors. She saw flames and called 911, just as a series of blasts tore the house apart. Across town, Josh Powell's attorney says he received an email from Josh stamped 1205. It was 3 words: "I'm sorry, goodbye."
This wasn't tragic. This was deeply wrong. This was evil. You do not kill little kids.
Police found 3 bodies in the center of the rubble, 2 children and an adult. They say there is no doubt that Josh Powell wanted to end his life and take his little boys with him, and say an accelerant was used to make the house burn quickly.
He grabbed the kids, locked her out of the house, and immediately the house went up in flames.
There he is. There he is. You see him?
Sources tell ABC News Powell's mood had changed drastically in recent days. He was more calm than usual, but also seemed excited about the future.
All right, come on.
He was last seen in public at this custody hearing on Wednesday, during which a judge ordered him to undergo a psychological examination and lie detector test while the kids remained with his missing wife's parents.
We're happy to have him with us. We want the best for the kids.
The decision was a blow to Powell, who recently lost custody of the 2 boys and remained the only person of interest in the disappearance of his wife, Susan. Josh told police that he last saw his wife around midnight in December of 2009 before taking his 2 sons on a late-night camping trip in the Utah desert.
You know, I got out to a pretty late start.
This morning, the Cox family, which first lost a daughter, is now dealing with the almost unbearable deaths of their grandsons. The Cox families released a statement saying that they are devastated, that they always feared Josh Powell might harm the children. And there's also this bit of intrigue from their attorney, who says that the 2 little boys recently had started to speak about the night their mother vanished, saying they recalled going out camping late at night with their dad and their mother riding in the car's trunk. So unbelievably sad.
We came back here. There was a little card in the door from Constable Walsh saying that would we contact him.
I was here.
Mark and I were here.
I was at my house.
I was home watching the 6 o'clock MTV news, and the next thing I saw a picture of Shirley and Zachary and saying that they were missing.
And I was just screaming at the top of my lungs.
And I immediately fell to the floor.
So I immediately went over to their apartment.
We came here.
So we just left it, got in the car and went over
Our
there.
vicar came by because he'd heard.
They're going to find them. They're going to be okay.
You're overreacting. You're going to think the worst.
You know, she's probably gone for a night.
My first thought was that she had left. She had taken him and run. She couldn't do that. She couldn't possibly do that.
That was about 2 or 3 hours of uncertainty. The emotion was overwhelming.
Because I know you would be worried if we disappeared for a couple of days or whatever, right?
They called us and told us that they were doing a search of the beach out in Conception Bay South. I thought they're doing that for a reason.
I had received a call. We're having a press conference on the Turner case.
I went to Father Chris. I just whispered to him, I think you better stay because I think I'm going to be coming back here with some really bad news. He told me that they had found a baby. along with an adult. I knew then that there was 2 bodies.
They're working to identify the bodies, and you gotta.
We came to the door, and it was Jackie and Constable Walsh.
When I was saying, oh my gosh, somebody's with them now trying to tell them.
We went in and I told them. And what I saw after that, I will never forget in my life.
Rage, some vicious rage. Someone has done that to someone you love. If the person who did this had been here, I'd kill him.
I was trying to do this as a surprise for you and David.
Period, no question. Kill him. Strangle that fucking bitch right here, right now. Period, no question. Kill him.
And then we went to have to identify him, and we couldn't touch him because they said he was forensic.
He hadn't been through the autopsy yet. There's this table and sort of white sheets up all around him, but with a white sheet over her body. You could see over the sheet clearly it was his. It was him. It's really him. And then Kate's legs quit. She just went straight to the floor. And
David was lying on top of Kate on the floor. We managed to get him out. I don't know how we did it, Kurt. I don't know how I got out myself. That poor little baby.
a summary of the evidence against Shirley Turner.
Part 2. In July of 2003, Shirley met a man at a bar in downtown St. John's. They went out twice until his friends showed him articles on the web saying she was accused of killing her last boyfriend. He told her he didn't want to see her anymore. She then called and left over 200 messages on his phone, including one saying that she was pregnant and that he needed to
step up to the plate and be a fucking man.
She wasn't, as her autopsy showed. The night she killed you, she made a phony phone call from her apartment to a friend's answering machine, claiming to be at this man's house with you. She took your brother TJ's car at about 11:38 that night and drove to the man's house. She got lost along the way and asked a woman for directions along this road around 12:45 a.m. She parked behind his house, left a used tampon and photos of the two of you on his property, completing her attempt to frame this man for what she was about to do, then took you down to the ocean behind his home. A night watchman in the area thought he heard a baby crying in the distance around 2:30 a.m. Shirley took her prescription for Ativan, prescribed for her by psychiatrist John Doucette, mixed it into your formula, then took some herself. The only good thing we know about this is that you were not conscious and you did not suffer. She then walked to the edge of a pier, and with you strapped to her stomach with a sweater, she jumped into the Atlantic Ocean.
Mommy loves you. Yes, I do. Mommy loves you. Did you have a nice nap? What did you dream about? Mommy loves you. Mommy misses you.
He was found face upwards with his eyes wide open, and the policeman who found him said that he had wrapped him in a blanket rather than a plastic bag, and he and another officer carried him gently back, and he made very sure that he kept the body very far away from the wicked woman who had murdered him.
When I sit here, I hate her so much.
When we came here, David and I realized what Shirley Turner was. She was the devil. But people think that you're some kind of basic religious nut if you believe in the devil.
I haven't prayed since Zachary died. I have some issues I have to deal with. My faith has been tested.